for that to click in. There we are. We should probably change the stream title, huh? Well, what are we working on now? We've got magazines loading. Now we're probably working on the magazine release. I'm just going to say mag release working. Cool. That's a better title. Alright, so hopefully this works okay. Having the microphone on the table in front of me should work, right? Just like kind of talking into it like that. Seems fine. The new kitty cat was in heat for a couple weeks, and she was just screaming at us all day long, top of her lungs. It's amazing that a little tiny 5-pound cat can make more noise than a frickin' smoke alarm. Like, goddamn. But she's calmed way down now. She's fine. She's over in the window right now, just chilling, watching the squirrels. So that is much preferable. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. No screaming. But I did just have her food out, and the other cat's gonna steal it, so I'm gonna put that away real quick. See, now my other cat's gonna come zipping down here, trying to find the food bowl. He's kind of hard to see. That's him right there. He's the food hog. He wants all the food. All right. Probably kind of hard to hear if I'm doing it that way, so this is probably better, huh? Alright, let's go. So, what we're doing right now is, where we left off last, is we are able to we have a windmill level that doesn't have a windmill. That's pretty funny. We have a map called Windmill, but there's no windmill yet. Yeah, we'll get there maybe. So, what we've done is you can load the magazine. This is pretty cool. And you can insert the magazine, but there's no mag catch. Take it out. That's fine. And that sound works as long as you don't insert the magazine very slowly. And I've got the gun at a bit of an angle, so. Oh, that's interesting. I've got it on the wrong plane. You see that? That is kind of interesting. There we go. I might have to think about a solution to that, because that's not quite the right answer, huh? There you go. That works pretty slick. I do like it. I do like it. There's a couple improvements we could make there. It should really start playing the mag removal sound as soon as you start dragging it out, not after it leaves. And you can tell that the sound is out of sync. But it's good enough for now. We can fiddle around with that more later. We've actually done a better job of that with the revolver. So like, for instance, the extractor on the revolver, we've done a really good job with that. But it took some fiddling to get it correct. Right? So let's say we take the revolver and we add some cartridges to the cylinder, right? And then we use the extractor right here, so go like this. I guess it still makes the sound effects at the end of the travel instead of at the start of the travel. And that works pretty well. Yeah, the hammer is better. There you go. You can see the sound effect plays as soon as you start to move it. And even actually, when you release the hammer, when it's all the way back and then you release it and it rocks forward just a tiny bit, there's a separate sound for that. And having the sound split up more discreetly like that makes it sound better. Because if you move the control more slowly, it still sounds like the sound effect is spread out if you perform the action more slowly. So, anyway. Excuse me, sorry. Let's actually write some code. So what we need to do now is the magazine release. And the Makarov has a heal mag release. So if we open up the file for the Makarov. Hey, little kitty, don't start screaming after I said how quiet you've been recently. Hey, kitty. Meow, meow. Meow, meow. Hey, kitty cat. I appreciate that you like hanging out on my shoulder, but I'm afraid you have ulterior motives. And that might not be safe for YouTube consumption, you know? Alright, so we're opening up the file for the Makarov here. Kitty cat. I don't know if I'm cool with you, like, mounting my shoulder like that. You can chill. You can chill. Let's go to the file here. Hey, kitty. Hey, kitty. Alright. We'll try coding with you, just hanging out there for a minute. Don't bite my ear, okay? And we've got this heal magazine release. Zoom in all the way. There we go. It's as far as it lets us go. There. So the mag release is here. And I don't think it has a hitbox yet. It doesn't have a click area. So, that'll be probably the first thing to do. And second of all, the mag release is actually going to bend out a little bit and then snap back in as you insert the magazine. So, I'll probably program that first. Maybe. I'm not sure what order we should do it in. We'll figure it out. But first of all, let's just give it a click area. So like, for instance, we have the hammer click area, and we can just kind of look at this one to make sure we remember how it works. So I've just got it on 1 and 1, so that's easy enough. And it's just a collision shape, so, and it is parented to the hammer. So we're going to do the same kind of thing here, just so we're keeping it the same. So we're going to add a collision shape and call it mag release click area. And then we're going to make sure we place it right on top of the mag release. Now that's interesting that we have the mag releases transform way over there. That may be a problem. It might not matter. We'll give it a go. Right, we're just going to be sliding it horizontally instead of rotating it, so it shouldn't matter. We'll give it a go. We'll give it a go. We can't modify an object's origin, to my knowledge, in Godot like we can in Blender. So worst case, we can re-export it from Blender and set the origin of the object differently. Sorry, the cats see a squirrel. They're going after him in the window. Yeah, we'll give this a go. I think we should be alright. So the mag release click area goes down there, and we're going to give it a collision shape. And we're just going to say it's a... I've been using boxes for everything. I don't know what's actually more efficient resources-wise, if a... I want to make this smaller. Like, a lot smaller. Yeah, it's kind of goofy because we are using one unit, or one Godot unit, per meter. Which is good for like laying out the levels, right? But it kind of sucks for building things like this because it's a little too small. We start running out of digits of precision, you know. But I think we'll be all right. It's been okay so far. It's been workable so far. There's been a few cases like trying to align the sights where we run out of digits of precision, and it's just like, okay, we can't line these up quite right. But so far we've been lucky, and I think whatever we need to, we could fudge in Blender by like half a unit and then take it back into Godot, and then that would work. Because I think the geometry resolution is much higher than the game object resolution, you know? Whatever. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Worst case, we could, whatever, scale everything up by a factor of 10. Get it all set up in Godot, and then take that scene and put it into the main game and then scale it back down and then whatever, something like that. We could do something like that. So there's easy solutions. Or we could just change everything and have our scale be 10 to 1 in the game instead of 1 to 1. That would be easy too. So all good options. No wrong answer. All right. We've got that mag release click area. Why is it still upset with me? Oh, this needs to be an area. Yeah. This needs to be an area. Boom. Now it's happy. Now it's happy. All right. And let's go ahead and make a event on this. So let's go input event. And the gun will listen for that input event. And we're going to name it on mag release click area input event. That's fine. All right. Similar to, say, this one. And we'll put this same kind of statement on it. So if it's a mouse click and it's the left mouse, then we're just going to, for now, say print mag release clicked. And let's just take baby steps, make sure that works. Make sure that works. So let's go ahead and click it, and I don't have my debug window set up, so let me set that back up. Super high tech. Okay, now we can see the output screen even while we're going. So that's pretty pog. You can have it like centered. Look at that. All right. So now, if we click on the mag release, there we go. It registers the click. So. Awesome. Sorry, it's hard to not. Ooh, that's interesting. That might be a little too wide. Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out some stuff of depth of plane here because right, now you have to go like this. You shouldn't have to worry about this. The game should handle this for you. See how these are on a different collision plane, and so they're not coming together? See that? Yeah, so we need to actually push this back to the background, like this. You know? Yeah. That would be easy enough to fix. Just when we transfer something, we can set a predetermined depth coordinate. Yeah, I mean, we could even fix that right now while I'm thinking about it. So let's see. If we look at the player script here, on gun give magazine right here, right? So we set the transform to the global transform, but then let's also go, so that's on line 324 there. Give magazine. Head camera pockets is the position. Right. So what we can do here is down on line 324, did I say? Yeah. Right here, we can also overwrite the depth coordinate, which should be... It's just going to be magazine, not new magazine. That's what it's complaining about. Transform origin dot Z. Let's check. It always confuses me because it's different. Z and Y are flip-flopped in Blender and Godot. So if we open the player scene for a second, that's going to tell us really what we want to see. Player. And then see the difference in scale there? Yeah. What is this axis? It's the Z axis. For sure. So that's easy. So if we go back here and then we go player script and .z, .transform.origin.z. And that should fix it. Now, what it still might mean is you can't, if you've got the gun tilted like up like this, like horizontally, you can't stick the mag in it because the mag is always going to be in this orientation. And that's fine. Maybe some point way down the road we'll contrive some mechanism to solve that problem, but we'll keep it really simple right now and say, hey, if you want to put the mag in the gun, you've got to have it turned the right way, which seems reasonable. So just to kind of demonstrate what we just hopefully fixed there, right? So before, right, I wasn't able to do that because if I put the mag in like this and then I turn the gun all the way like this and then I take the mag out like this, right, it was placing the magazine really close to the camera, and that would mess up the positioning of the mag, and that's now fixed. So that's cool. That's pretty straightforward. Oh, and we can still insert it even like that. That works pretty well, honestly, just like it is. I'm not quite understanding how it works like that because those collision shapes, unless, did we make that collision shape on the gun pretty wide? You know, so it's got a bit of a wingspan to it. I think we did. Here, just so I'm... Yeah, I mean, it's not that big, but this right here, see this? How there's some thickness to this thing? Is what I'm meaning. Yeah, let me put it back to where it was. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it works, so I'm not going to change it if it works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Okay, so back to what we were working on, which is the magazine, the Heal magazine release. So, I'm going to go to the next step of programming this after I go heat up my coffee in the microwave. So I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Ah. Much better, much better. I probably have already mentioned this, but I am running this computer and also running my microwave and things off of solar panels, which is really fun. So this stream powered by the sun, which is pretty cool. It is pretty cool. I was gonna grab a picture, but might take me a second. Uh-oh, kitty, you getting yelly. What are you yelling about? Hey, you. There we go. There's the solar panels in the yard. It's kind of fun. Yeah. Got our nice, neat, and tidy electricity tangle over there. It's pretty simple and relatively well organized. Ish. Anyhow. Hey, kitty cat. So, there's two things that we need this mag release to do. Number one, if we click and drag it forward a certain amount, it should release the magazine. Otherwise, it should latch and keep the magazine stuck in the up position. Yeah. Then, second of all, when you put the magazine in, it should move appropriately, because it should get depressed in as you insert the magazine, and then it should click back into place as it reaches that detent. So, how we want to do this? Well, let's give a script to the magazine release. So let's go here to the magazine release. Go attach script. And all of our script names are lowercase because that is the convention. So alright. So what I think I'm going to do here is, let's look at the hammer script, just to have an example to look at, right? So we have a function here under the process method, right? That is happening regularly. So now, I'm kind of envisioning we're going to have a... you're going to sit in my lap, kitty cat? That's fine. You're welcome to sit in my lap. We're going to have an event here called, latch and unlatch. So when the mag release latches the parent, which is managing the motion of the magazine and the dragging and everything, can stop the drag event on the magazine so that when it clicks into place, the drag just is ended and the user can't pull it back out again without then also releasing the magazine release. So I think that's kind of the way I'm going to go with it. So I'm going to add an event here, a signal, on the magazine. And we're going to say signal latch engaged, maybe? Or magazine latched or something? Getting comfortable, kitty cat? So, now we maybe want to do something similar here. No, let's just start with this. Start with this. So what we're going to do is, well, and I don't even know if we want this to be included. So, let's look what our dimensions are going to be here, what our directions are going to be. So, if we actually look at the mag catch right now, the position it's in right now should be the fully closed position, and then as it opens, it's going to push rearwards towards the butt of the gun, right? So, with the mag release, as it opens, so what's its current position? Is probably 0, isn't it? So 0. And then this is the z direction. Is this a positive z direction? I think so. So let's say the extreme of its travel is going to be 5 millimeters, is that? Yeah, something like that. Alright. In the positive z direction is to open it, right? And we'll just put it back to 0. Okay. So if we go back to the script here, let's say closed equals 0. Right, and the reason we need that is because the magazine might push it outwards and make it so that you can't move it between those two extremes. We'll have to kind of think about how that's going to look, but I think that'll be fine. Okay. Right. We might actually end up doing this, but, Yeah. So what we want to do is, if the magazine is moving, right, and it doesn't need to be a gradual ramp. We can just have it snap to a different spot. That might be a lot easier, and it's still going to give the right impression, right? And let's just pick a spot kind of in the middle. So let's say, maybe that makes good sense, right? Now, how is it going to know if a magazine is partially inserted? We need to give it information about the magazine's position, right? And that's easy enough. So it can listen to a signal, right? So let's have a signal here. I think that makes sense. Magazine insert progress, and then percent inserted. Okay. Well, hang on. A parent is just going to call a method to its children. A child emits a signal to its parents. So this does not need to be a signal. This is just going to be a function. So let's have another function here called okay. All right. So first of all, let's just send this message into the deal and print it out. I forgot I had that debug menu over the top. That's probably annoying. Okay, let's do that. And then from here, let's say on magazine drag, right? And then let's say and really we could make the case for having that be a variable name. So now this gets confusing, but because this is a node, nodes get camel case names. It's not my favorite that they're like a special case and everything else is spine case, but that is the Godot convention, so I will keep it because whatever. Cool. Yeah, it makes some sense. It's not completely, whatever, unreasonable. I think it makes sense. Okay. Here. And we actually have a percent travel right here, so. Oops. I pasted it. I meant to copy. Right. Now, that should work. That should work. Let's just try it. Let's just try it. Now I can turn on the debug screen, huh? Okay. So see those numbers that are coming through in the debug? Now, that's a decimal because it's a percentage, right? So, what does that say? Oh, well, that's a relative percentage. It's not an absolute percentage. Okay, well, we can fix that. Yeah. Because this is easy, because we know the position. Because percent travel, right? Now, if we say percent, yeah, I usually consider that as a number between 0 and 1. Yeah. So, we can say this number, and we're clamping it between the minimum and the maximum. So this is the minimum. So we can subtract the minimum. It's not adding an extra pair in there because it doesn't think I need one, but I do need one. All right. Divided by the total length. And now hopefully that will give me a decimal number of the full amount that it's inserted. Let's try it. I might need to cast that to a float, depending, so we'll try it. Alright, and let's put it in about halfway and see what numbers it's giving us. It says that's... I don't know if that's working. No, because it says it's only 3% inserted. That's not right. Oh, well, okay, I may have this backwards. No, yeah, that's not working. That's not working quite right. It's kind of working. Yeah. kind of, but we want to invert it, and it's too big of a number. I mean, it's too little of a number. Why is it such a small number? Oh, well, first of all, yeah, we're looking at the z value. We're looking at the z value, that's why. It's the y value that we're really interested in here, first of all. Yeah. Okay. That explains a lot. Duh. Okay. That should be about half. Yeah. 75%. That should be about 100%. There it is. And then that should be almost, yeah, that's 30% inserted. That's 10% inserted. And then it's gone. That's 50% inserted. Yeah, that's working. That's working. So that's awesome. So, right, now we've got that number in here, right? So now let's actually, let's get back into that for a second, because let's decide what value Well, I've been muted that whole time. That's okay. I didn't say anything important. I was just saying I have a cat sleeping in my lap, so I can't go make some sound effects, but that's okay. Once we get to the point where we're making sound effects, we'll go from there. And the other thing I was saying is it makes sense to have these in one big if-else chain because we want to consider the prior state. So we don't want these if-else blocks to fire in sequence. We want them to evaluate all at the same time. So that's why this is an elif. So if the percent inserted is greater than 97%, which means it's all the way inserted, then we're going to say latched, and we can make a print statement in here maybe. Okay, and let's test that. Let's test that. So what we should see here is put it in, nothing happens, nothing happens, nothing happens, and latched. See that? That's good. Now we can still take it out because we haven't programmed that part yet, but that's going to be next. So there's two more things we want to program though here. When if the current position is this, right? We want to apply a spring force Spectre. Yo, hey, thanks for stopping by. How's your day been? Yeah, sorry, I've not been streaming much, and I'm kind of all over the place with my timing, so I just do a little bit here and there. And we're currently working on the magazine release. So, this little thing, that little springy thing on the bottom, right? Because, oh, you can't see that, sorry. There we go. Time zones, yeah, for sure. This little springy thing right here. So that should move around when we put the magazine in, because it's kind of like clipping through that right now. And then it should click it in place so we can't take it back out again after we've inserted it. And then lastly, we should be able to click on it to disconnect it. So that's what we're working on. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. So, let's see. Right now it's printing a message, and that works. So when we insert it all the way, it is correctly seeing that the magazine latched, and that's cool. Now that has to actually mean something, though. So, first of all, when you put the mag in, it should the magazine release should move a little bit to get out of the way of the magazine. So let's do that. Then, actually, we don't even spring it back to the minimum. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So let's do that. So let's look at the hammer maybe as an example. So we've got a return speed value here. Yeah, although this is let's look at this slide maybe as a better example, because it's a linear instead of a rotation. So let's look at the slide. There we go. Script. So we've got, here we go, return speed. And that's probably not a bad starting point. 2 centimeters per frame. So, or per tick or whatnot. So let's go here. Let's say return speed is this. Now, 0 is the minimum, so return speed being negative does make sense, I think, so that's fine. So spring back to the minimum, And let's say transform dot origin dot z equals transform origin z plus return speed, which is a negative number. And then let's say clamp z position is equal to clamp z position, and then the minimum is going to be obviously just well, it's actually going to depend. So if there's a partially inserted magazine, there's a couple ways we could do this, but we'll just do this for now. Well, or we could do this. Okay, and then we could say here, and then otherwise here we can say just to bump it back out like that, and then we don't need an if statement here because we already have if statements elsewhere. Doesn't really matter, I guess. And then the maximum is always going to be the same as open. Cool. And that should work, so let's try it. Let's give it a look. So pay attention to that little metal bump there. Aha! Do you see that? It moved! It moved! That's the goal. That's the goal. And that looks right. And you see it clicks back. It clicks back when you put it back in. Now that's a point. That's an interesting point. Yeah, hooray! It doesn't snap forward after you remove it. That's a bug. So percent inserted. Oh, yeah. Hey, kitty cat. That's a good point. And I don't know a ton about how to use OBS. Let's see. Filters. How's that? Is that any better? If I just use the default settings. I mean, that seems better. Yeah, I like that. Totally. Makes sense. Well, and that's probably what the noise suppression will help with, maybe? Maybe not. It's funny. These headphones, the cat, not this cat, the other cat, has chewed several times, and there's like 6 little wires inside this cable, you know? But I've I've repaired it with some very careful soldering a couple times, and it still works. Mostly. Much better. Awesome. Well, you taught me something. That's a good point. Thank you. Let's see. So we wanted to snap back after the magazine is fully removed, and that's not happening. Let's see. Insert is false. I bet it was right here, isn't it? This is where I need to do it. This is the case I'm not considering. There we go. Oh yeah, the headphones. Yeah, it was a fun project, so I probably talk about it too much. Alright, there we go. And now let's see if that works. Okay, that's good. Yeah, that's it. That was all. That's pretty cool. I like that. All right, that's awesome. So we're getting somewhere. Um, so right now the magazine catch still does not actually like hold it in the gun. So let's fix that. Um, so we're emitting a signal called magazine latched, but we're not doing anything with it. So if we go back up to the script for the whole gun, let's add a listener. Okay. And let's see, release, magazine latched, and then dragged items, bring back. Are we emitting that? We are emitting it right there. Magazine latched is the name of the signal. So when we first initiate here on ready, let's add a listener here. We can even just register the listener right out of the gate, right? Because we can go here. Here we go. On mag release magazine latched. Yep, that's fine. And I just called it on magazine latched, so that's fine. Connect. There we go. Sweet. So what do we want to have happen? We want to say drag.stop. And that honestly should do it in and of itself. And then there's one other part, which is in here, and mag release dot and not magazine latched. That should do it. That should do it. All right, so put some rounds in this one, because why not? All right, that's good. Click. Ah. Now, I've ran into a small issue, which is my threshold value there is not right, so it didn't go all the way in. So we'll have to fix that. But it's working. It's not letting me pull it back out again. So that's good. Yeah, how do we want to fix that? Uh, magazine. Yeah, well, this would be easy. Now, let's see. We may want to make this a function so we can call it elsewhere. But magazine transform origin y equals the extreme length of travel, which is this, probably. And then we can make a separate little function. Thank you, thank you. I mean, you could make the argument that I should be painting on the whole canvas and working on my levels a little bit more and stuff, but that's okay. This is kind of the fun part. So, although making levels is fun too, you know. After we have a few guns working, we're gonna need to have a place to use them. So make some cool courses and stuff. We've already done a little bit of that, so we're kind of spreading it around too. Um, hey, kitty cat, you stretching? Um, yeah. So let's make this everything to do with the z position. Let's make this a separate function. And let's call it mag z from or just update mag z if I can type. I'm getting a call. I'll be right back. Nice. Well, I'm glad you stopped by and checking it out. Yeah, it's uh I do think the kind of direction of most video games is just to like super oversimplify the gunplay, and that seems like kind of a shame to me because I think there's a lot of really interesting minutia, and you know, there's kind of a skill ceiling in a game of like learning the map, whatever, learning the recoil control, this and that, and it's kind of fun to be like, well, what if part of the skill of the game is actually having some real firearms knowledge or whatever? So that's kind of the idea. So yeah, I agree. I think it'll be kind of fun. Update Magazine Z is going to be based off this. And kind of along those same lines, I just watched a video this morning of how the safety on a Mosin sniper. Yeah, bottom. See, I didn't know you could do that on a M1. Can you? Because like usually you go from the top and you got the clip, and uh, now I'm kind of curious. Yeah, that's exactly the kind of thing I'm talking about. 100%. What we get
If you
our
conceal carry, you just found your new favorite holster.
advertisements. There we go.
Hi guys, I'm going to show some of you, you may not know, and I'm going to First, when you load this gun, you pull it back. You want to make sure that's not the way you want the bolt all the way back. The simple way, these are fake rounds, a simple way is just put one round in the chamber. You're loaded. That's one way. One at a time. Another way is the old 8-round clip.
Those aren't
Okay.
fake rounds.
Now with this, you want to put your hand right here. You want to support the bolt, the handle right here. If you don't, you just push down here, you're going to get that thing stuck.
You're gonna
take
smash
this-
your finger.
Put it in. Okay. Put your hand, you're going to support the bolt with the side of your hand. Push it in. You feel it wants to go. You're loaded. Very simple. Sometimes you need to bump it. That's okay. That's nothing wrong with the gun. It's just the clip is very tight. Okay. A third way. Let's suppose you have 3 or 4 rounds left, or like Dad's case, you're out of ammo. You got a few rounds here and there on the ground. You pick them up. How do you load the rifle? Single shot? Nah. You take your clip, you put it in the gun. Okay. You can take. You find 4 loose ones. Just place it in the gun like this. Now it's a little bit. Of course, the magazine is much nicer to load, but I mean it can be loaded in the rifle like this. We'll put 4. Okay.
Sorry
Now
if
you
I'm
got
missing
4
your
in the
chat.
4 in the clip. Now you press down on
Got
the
those in the
clip
same
itself.
tab. I gotta fix that. There we go.
Watch your thumb. Push it down. There you go. You're loaded. You're loaded with 4.
Oh, yeah. Totally. I see what you're saying. So, right, exactly. Games will say, will behave as if that was possible, but it isn't possible. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I was watching something this morning where they put the safety on a Mosin. Yeah, they like the ping for sure. I mean, it's a nice sound. I like it. But and I had no idea. You twist the back of the Mosin bolt, and that's the safety. And I was like, how many games have I played that have Mosins in them, and I've never even seen that control? And there's also a trap door. We can actually take the rounds out of the bottom of a Mosin. I didn't know that either, but I guess you can do that. Like, so yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of cool stuff about all of those things. Let's see. I'm gonna jump off here in maybe 5 or 10 minutes because my partner's on her way home from work, so I'll give her a hug when she gets home. But I think we have time to finish this last little bit up, so why is it unhappy with me about this? Identifier magazine is not declared in the current scope. Oh, because it's being passed in here by this function. It's easy. And then we're just going to take this and reuse that code. And I love Counter-Strike. I play Counter-Strike tons, but I don't think I ever noticed that the guns were mirrored. That's actually kind of interesting. I'll have to look at that next time. I would totally believe it. Like, if the bolt handle's on the wrong side of the AK or whatever. The biggest thing that gets me is if you've got like 10 rounds left in your magazine, and then you just chuck that magazine on the ground and stick a new one in, but you still have those 10 bullets that you just threw on the ground. Modeled left-handed and then mirrored. Interesting. I did not know that. I did not know that. Update magz, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to re-invoke that method down here. Now, really, we should have a reference to the magazine at the gun level. Do we not? We do. Inserted magazine. So, yeah, we should be able to do this without passing around that reference. Should just be able to do this. Yeah, that ought to work. And then we don't need to call this like that. And then we don't need to worry about that here. We can just do this and that and this. Cool. Yeah, and that should work. So let's give that a quick try. So what we should have fixed there is now when you insert the magazine, it should fully seat it, no matter where I put that threshold. So you have a little wiggle room. You don't have to like push it, absolutely slam it metal to metal for it to still click home. Oh, that's an interesting point. Yeah. Yeah, totally. As you're firing. Yeah. Because all the guns in Counter-Strike are like off to the side, because that's how they've set it up. You don't ADS at all. Yeah. I just never even thought about that. Let's see. So there's the little release, the heel release. Goes like that, and then bam, snaps home, and now it's stuck. Now she's stuck. She's in there good. Alright. Awesome. So the final point here is now we need to be able to click on this and manipulate it. So that we can get the magazine back out. So, kind of like the slide stop up at the top here, because this is kind of fun. I suppose there's no after you hear about it, you can't stop noticing. Yeah, there's a lot of things that are like that, I suppose, yeah. I've probably talked about this plenty before, but kind of like we were just watching that guy with the M1, right? You kind of need two hands to do a lot of stuff, like you hold the bolt open as you're putting in the stripper clip. But we only have one mouse, right? So to do that, I'm just using the shift button on the keyboard. So if you hold shift on the keyboard, it holds whatever you're dragging. So the best example here is to lock the slide back. So if I don't hold the shift key, there's no way I can lock the slide back before the slide slams home. So we hold shift on the keyboard. Now I've let go with the mouse, but it's keeping the slide open, which is kind of simulating I'm using my other hand to hold the slide back, right? And then I can push up the slide stop and then drop it, and everything stays put. So same mechanic for the magazine release. So if you want to take the magazine out, you're going to click and drag the magazine release so that it's open. Hold shift, so you're using your other hand to pull the mag out, and then you can click and drag the magazine. So that's the idea there. Just feels really good. It's a lot of fun. All right. So the first part of this is going to be easy. We just need to set up another two-dimensional drag setup. So we can use the slide as an example and just kind of copy this. So this slide, and do we have these parented to the slide? I do. They are parented to the slide. Thank you. Yeah, that's a good point. VR is an interesting case too, where you actually have two hands, right? Yeah. Some of them do an okay job, and some of them are just doo-doo. Yeah. One that looked interesting was called Boneworks, if you've seen that one. Boneworks seems pretty cool. Um, they did a pretty good job with the gunplay, and they're the same folks. I think they've got some connection to like Freddie W, Condor Digital, right? That same kind of group of folks was involved. I think. I don't know enough about it. But yeah, some of the VR stuff is not so great. Let's see. Why did I parent these positionals to the slide? That doesn't make much sense to me. I guess I did though. I guess I did parent them. So here's the two just position modifiers, but the whole slide is going to move, and then those positions are going to move with it, aren't they? They are. How does that work? Hmm. Super janky. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you think this is decent looking. Thank you. Uh, definitely has a long way to go. We have a ways to go yet. Uh, but yeah, I guess I can parent those position. This is what I get for coding something a month ago and then walking away from it for a minute. Okay, let's try it. So add a child node, and this is going to be a position 3D, and we're going to say mag release closed, and then let's duplicate it, and we're going to name it open, and then it needs to go 5 centimeters in the positive z direction. So we're just going to type it in 0, just because we know it already. 0, 5. There we go. Is that right? That seems extreme. Is it 0.005? It's 5 millimeters, not 5 centimeters. There we go. That makes a lot more sense. All right. And then the script here. So right now, if we click the magazine release, it's just printing something. So we're going to change that. So let's use the slide again as an example. So on here, and then we're going to start a drag just like this. So here, start a 1D drag with the mag release. Oh, this is the slide stop, actually. That's okay. Doesn't really matter which one we use as an example. I think technically I should name each of these as a variable, but I'm lazy and this works fine. Mag release closed. And we're just setting these 3D positions as like the... Oh, I think I know why this works. I think I remember how I did this now. Okay. Maybe. Okay, let's give that a try. Give that a try. So, here's the hope. We can click and drag this. Uh-oh. And crash the game. Oh, that's right. We need a drag motion 1D function on mag release. Go. So we need a method in here. And it takes a function, or it takes a parameter, percent percent travel, I think is what I normally call it. Let me look at the slide as an example. Oh yeah, we also have the event gets passed. Cool. And yeah, we'll kind of just copy this as an example because this should be fine. And this is taking care of some of the audio, which I'm going to comment out for now, because we'll do that. All of this is related to the sound effects. So we're going to comment this out for a second. Toggle comment. We're just going to do this. So percent table times total slider length, and the total slider length is going to be equal to just the open Z minus the close Z. In case we ever change those values, it'll just be right anyway. That's good. Transform the origin clamp is equal to, and then these are just the min and the max, so it's just closed Z is the minimum, and, well, and we want to use the effective closed Z. That's good. I'm really glad I did it that way, because then we don't need 4 if statements, we only need 1 if statements. That's really cool. And OpenZ. Could have named it max OpenZ, but that's fine. Okay, this should work now. So in it goes. Great, and we can now hopefully, yeah, look at that. So I'm probably going to take a break, but next time, look at that, it even snaps back. That's kind of cool. You can add some sound effects, so that actually makes a little snappy sound when you use it. But then just like the slide, and using the shift key on the keyboard to hold it there while you work the slide stop. Like this. Like that. And then we'll do the exact same kind of thing with the magazine release. So you use one hand to hit that heel release, and then with the other hand, you pull the magazine out, and we're using the shift key on the keyboard to get that two-handed situation going. Which is sweet. I was kind of procrastinating on this piece of the project because I was like, this is going to be a lot of moving parts. It's actually not that bad, so. And I was able to copy and paste all of it from other parts of the project, which is, that's the way to do it, really. All right, rock on. Well, Spectre, thanks for hopping in and saying hi, and I hope you have a good rest of your day there, and I might do more of this later, so if you're still interested, feel free to watch the replay after you're awake again in your time zone. Hope your day's going well there, and thanks a ton for saying hi. Talk to you later.